All right. Morning, humans. Everyone's still alive?
Just about.
Just about. It's for me, it's always a matter of how much coffee I've consumed to this point. There's a certain point before which I cannot really be qualified as alive in any meaningful way. But I think I've reached that today. I think we're good. So let's see what we can figure out here about the Great Depression and grammar and editing and such. October 29th, 1929 is known in U.S. history as Black Tuesday. It was on that day that the New York stock market crashed. Black Tuesday marked the end of good times and the beginning of the Great Depression. Soon, about 1 in 4 Americans would be out of work. Hardest hit were African Americans. Many people blamed President Hoover for the Great Depression, which lasted about 10 years. All right, Marielle, you want to start us off? No should be known. Yeah, is known. Cohen?
Which lasted. ED.
In the last sentence, lasted about 10 years, right? Bianca?
There should not be a question mark at the years. It should be
Right. It lasted about 10 years is not a question. We'll replace that with a period. John?
Four. Soon about 1 in 4 should be the number, not.
F-O-U-R, yeah. Tiara, I know you just got here, but you found anything in there yet? Brady?
P in president should be uppercase.
Sorry, what should be uppercase?
P in president.
Yes, it's immediately preceding his name, so president gets capitalized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jordan?
Would African, the A to
Yep, it would. Capital A, African Americans. Ashton? Should have went to you first, hey? I'm trying to think what's a good hint I can give you here. How about if you look really closely at U.S. history, Ashton, in the first sentence?
It'll be US dot, US dot.
Yeah, U dot S dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I will throw it open to the floor. Whatever you got, Cohen.
After work, I think there should be a period and then an uppercase, the H.
Yeah, did you guys think this? That there should be a break here? How do we know that it's a period and not a comma there? He's right, it is.
No, continuing about the Americans being out of war. No. I don't know.
Well, so period and capital H, that gives us 2 more. We have 2 separate and complete thoughts. Neither one of them needs the other in order to make sense, in order to be complete. In order to put a comma, now I know a lot of young writers are tempted to comma keep going because you're still kind of talking about the same thing. Resist the temptation to go comma keep going. Resist that temptation. End the sentence and start a new one. It is possible to put a comma there and then a conjunction. Say 1 in 4 Americans will be out of work, comma, and hardest hit were African Americans. That's technically correct, but it sucks. It doesn't need to be together. Don't make your sentences longer than they need to be. Good style is keeping your sentences clear and brief. Right? So even though you're still talking about the same thing, that's what the paragraph is for. Right? The fact that these sentences are in the same paragraph tells you that they're about the same thing. So you don't need to put them in the same sentence as well. Okay, so there should be, I think that's 9, so there should be one more here.
Do you need a comma after depression in the bottom sentence?
That is an excellent question. We do need a comma after depression in the last sentence, and I really wanted somebody to ask about that because it's the word which.
Oh, it's a conjunction.
So it's kind of a conjunction, yes. Which always introduces a clause that gives you extra information about the last thing that was mentioned. A clause that starts with the word which is always going to be preceded by a comma. I can't think of any case in which it would not be. So there's a difference here, and what often gets missed, if I change the word which for that, then I cannot have a comma there. So which gives further information about the last thing that was mentioned. That puts a limit on the last thing that was mentioned. So an example of this would be I'm afraid of dogs that bite. I'm afraid of dogs, comma, which bite. These two sentences don't mean the same thing. And somebody try to look at that for a minute and try to wrap your head around what is the difference in meaning between these two sentences. Anyone think they've got a sense of that difference?
The second sentence makes it so that the person's afraid of all dogs. Dogs are biting.
Exactly. In the second sentence, I'm afraid of all dogs, and I could stop the sentence there and it would not change the meaning. By the way, did you know that dogs bite? Bitey little buggers. In the first sentence, I'm not afraid of all dogs. I'm only afraid of those dogs that bite. I'm afraid of a limited subsection of dogs.
That makes sense.
Okay? So that's why we need a comma here. That's not that we don't need a comma. We need not to have a comma in this one because these words will change the meaning of the sentence. So you asked a really simple question, which enabled me to explain a complicated grammatical point. And so that's one of my favorite things. So thank you for that. Okay, the actual answer is quite a bit simpler than that. The actual answer is that we're missing a comma after 1929. You guys were quite close to it. Bianca was quite close to it. The comma after 1929 is not because this is a phrase of time, because it isn't. It's actually the subject of the verb is, but because the year is extra information about the date. That's how we consider that grammatically. So we could take 1929 out and have no commas. October 29th is known, right? And that means the same thing. Okay, so that gives us 10. Anything else in there that it troubles you or interests you, intrigues or confounds you? All right, we'll leave it at that.